Monday update on I-Do. The 13th of December 2021. Ayaan's residence Razia asks Shirin if she any problems. If they announce Ayaan and Humaira's engagement at Nikat's engagement ceremony tomorrow. Shirin says that she doesn't have a problem. Humaira, hearing from a distance, is overjoyed to hear this and passes by Nikta and Nusrat, who ask her the reason for the blush on her face and her extreme happiness. She says that she's just happy for Nikat and leaves while Nikat and Nusrat are surprised. Zoya wondering where Asad went, as his phone too is not reachable. She calls up at his office and finds from one of his employees that he hasn't come to the office that day. Zoya concludes that he lied since he must have had some important Secret Service mission. In Asad's car, Asad stops the car at the corner of the street leading to Ayaan's house. He asks Ayaan how is he now. Ayaan replies says that he feels terrible that the next day is Nikat's engagement and his elder brother is dropping him at the corner of the street. Asad tells him not to bother about that. Ayaan says that he felt really good when Asad shouted that he was Ayaan's elder brother and that he too feels like doing the same. However, they realize that it must be pretty strange that Faraz has taken a personal interest into their relationship and is after them. Ayaan tells Asad that Faraz caught hold of him when he came back from Hasina's house, which means that he knew where Ayaan was that morning. He asks Ayaan not to worry and sends him off. Once he's gone, Asad decides to get to the bottom of this and find out Ayaan's residence while all the girls have face packs in cucumber slices on their eyes for face cleaning and relaxation. Nusrat first tries to tease Nikat about sending her photo to Imran in this from. When she is snubbed, she again tries to tease, but this time, she directs it to Humaira, who can't stop smiling. They both get up and ask Humaira. She gets their hopes up by asking if they can keep her secret. When they reply yes, she teases them, saying that she can too and refuse to tell them. Nikat in retaliation throws water drops on her face and they all engage in a jovial pillow fight. Asad's residence Zoya overhears Asad talking to somebody on the phone, asking him to find out about Inspector Faraz Ansari, as he had beaten up a police officer after all, and that he needs to know everything about him. She thinks to herself that he must necessarily be a spy. While she's thinking, Asad stands behind her and asks the reason for her eavesdropping. Zoya feigns pain in her wrist and goes from there. Ayaan's residence Imran with his cousins is assembled at Nikat's house for some fun and enjoyment with Nikat and her cousins. Nusrat deliberately gives Imran a chit citing a certain task to be done, while everyone else gets a blank chit. He says that he wouldn't do it, since he has been implicated. Alone, everybody, seeing his reluctance to perform, teasingly tell Nikat to ask Imran to perform, since he wouldn't say no to her. She finally says yes and he breaks into a romantic song for her, all the while stealing shy romantic eyelocks with her. Ayaan at the door, seeing this, thinks that it's better that he sneaks in from the back door. Humaira however sees him going away. In his room, Ayaan is applying medicines on his wounds when Humaira walks in and is shocked to see his condition. She immediately rushes to get the doctor, but Ayaan stops her by saying that nobody in the house and especially Shirin should know about this, as that would disrupt the festive environment, and he makes her promise for that. She complies and then leaves after asking Ayaan to come out soon. Asad's residence Zoya starts a conversation with Dilshad and Nazma that everything happens for a reason, and that there has to be a reason for Asad's strange, silent, introvert and secretive style of living. They say that he has always been like this since childhood. When Zoya probes further, Dilshad goes into describing him physically. Zoya, seeing that she's deviating from the topic, asks her to talk about his personality rather than features. Nazma tells her that he was fond of being superheroes and goes on to tell her about how they used to play in the ground together. Dilshad then goes on to say that he soon grew out of this game and then wanted to be a spy and was always playing such spying games in the house. While she's describing, Zoya's creative mind immediately goes on to picture Asad as a spy, and she thinks to herself that his family might not know, but definitely he has still kept on to his childhood games. Zoya, again in another incident, catches Asad talking to another fellow about a cement delivery on a particular site and emphasizing the importance of the delivery being tonight only. She thinks that tonight must be really important for Asad, and she would find out why. Asad turns around to find Zoya again. Sensing herself in danger, she again flees from there while Asad is baffled at her behavior. Ayaan's residence. Ayaan finds a gun in his clothes while he tries to keep them somewhere safe and remembers that Asad, while hitting Faraz, had accidentally dropped the gun on the clothes. He hides it immediately underneath his clothes. When Nusrat walks in, she asks Ayaan to come outside since Imran is asking for him. He leaves with Nusrat while worried for the gun. Outside, he is in evident pain. While Humera is concerned for him, he makes up an excuse that he's in pain, that soon his sister would leave them. Then he diverts the topic by asking them to step up the fun and start dancing and enjoy the night. While they are dancing, Ayaan faints and falls on the ground. Everybody is concerned for him. Everyone is shocked to see Ayaan fall after fainting. But he indeed does that to scare them, as he gets up soon and breaks into a dance with them. Everyone joins in happily. Ayaan comes in Asad's room, and when Asad asks him why is he here, Ayaan shows him the gun. Asad is surprised. Zoya, coming out of her room, finds a silhouette of somebody in Asad's room and presumes that the delivery Asad was talking about has finally arrived. She thinks of going into Asad's room for some excuse and find out the truth. Ayaan says that he thought of giving it to him when he saw the gun. Asad asks him if he's alright and if that inspector ever bothered him again. He says that he's fine. Zoya, making coffee, determined to gind out about Asad's activities. While Ayaan is bitching about Hasina to Asad, Zoya's knocking on the door startles them, and Ayaan, in haste, hides himself in the lawn. Zoya enters and, giving the coffee, says that she would find out the truth about Asad today, since she saw somebody in Asad's room some time back. While she's saying this, she stumbles on the gun that falls on the floor and is shocked and convinced too that he's a spy. Asad, finding no other option, points a gun at Zoya, and Zoya is scared to death seeing him in this form. He says that if he ever try to tell anyone anything about this or try to interfere anymore, then he would kill her for sure. Zoya is very scared and flees from there, promising to keep her mouth shut. After she's gone, Asad locks the door. Ayaan jumps in through the window and, again in a flirting manner, begins asking about Zoya and commenting on how he missed seeing her these past 2 meetings. He also casts a doubt on the fact that if she's taking so much interest in his activities, then she's probably interested in her. Then, Asad tells him to go and be ready for Nikat's engagement tomorrow. Ayaan gets emotional and says that rightfully he should be there for the marriage of the first sibling amongst them. Asad tells him to get logical, and after hugging him sends Ayaan off. After he's gone, Asad, looking at the gun, thinks to himself of the reason for which Faraz is after Ayaan. Ayaan's residence, Imrana Nd Nikat Steel. some time away from everyone else and engage in some romantic talk. Imran says that today is the second most important day of his life. When Nikat asks about the first, that he says is already reserved for tomorrow when he gets engaged with her. She smiles shyly. Humaira comes in to tease them, saying that outside people are searching for Imran, not knowing they should search for Nikat to find him. Imran excuses himself, promising to meet her tomorrow for their engagement. Nikat shyly nods. Hasina's house. Hasina too is in anticipation of tomorrow and says to Faraz, who's in pain, that his Pinyadian wounds won't go in pain since tomorrow is very special for them. Since she now knows about the family's relation with Asad and that the next day would mark her victory over them. Ayaan's residence. Rashid's mother, who has returned, complains to Shirin that so much happened behind her, and nobody bothered to tell anything to her. Shirin gives the credit for that to Razia, saying that it wouldn't have been possible without her, while Razia modestly refuses to take credit for God's will. Rashid asks his mother to be relieved now that Nikat's life is settled, but Shirin adds that not just Nikat, tomorrow is a special day for Ayaan too. Though he doesn't know. Razia motions her to stop. Hence when Rashid's mother asks the news, she feigns to have forgotten it. But on her insistence, despite Razia motioning her not to, Shirin tells about Ayaan's and Humaira's engagement to be announced tomorrow. His mother is immediately concerned and eyes Razia, knowing that she's behind this. Later, when Razia is hollering at the servants for working faster, Rashid's mother confronts her, saying that she plans everything very timing-wise, as is the case with Ayaan and her daughter's engagement announcement. She accuses her of not giving Ayaan some time to decide what he wants and throwing this bouncer at him tomorrow. Razia tries to talk her way out, saying that she wasn't alone in the decision, but she says that she knows Razia was behind Shirin taking the decision, as Razia had wanted this for many years. Razia says that EEV and Shirin and Rashid wanted the same thing, and it's her habit to always doubt Razia's intentions. She asks her that even if she didn't ask Ayaan, his own parents didn't think the need to ask Ayaan Abu this, as everyone in the family knows about their affection for each other. Rashid's mother says that the affection is due to them growing up together, but that doesn't mean Ayaan is ready to marry her. Razia retorts, saying that she doesn't have an answer if she thinks she knows Ayaan better than his parents. She says that she does, and also warns Razia that she won't let this happen. Razia is troubled to hear this. Asad's residence. Asad, on the breakfast table, is surprisingly amused to find Zoya cordially waiting for him to serve him breakfast. Zoya, on the other hand, remembering his threat and thinking that he would in fact kill her if she doesn't listen to him, tries to be extra sweet and attentive to his wishes. She serves him breakfast and makes coffee for him. On seeing the cup, Asad is reminded of Zoya's torture on him, and she too tells her to clean a seemingly clean cup from the outside, showing her the spots that according to him are dirty. Zoya, not wishing to piss him off, does without talking back, so unlike her character. She hangs around till he finishes coffee and breakfast and says that she's doing so since Nazma's gone to college and Dilshad's gone to the market. He asks her to leave, then calls her Baka and applauds her for the good job and indirectly threatens her too, saying that if she continues like this, her life would be much easier, as she knows what he meant. She agrees. He then comments that she didn't make the coffee with her heart, since it's bitter. She doesn't object to tea and immediately goes to make another cup for him. The screen freezes on Asad's evil look face, enjoying his position of power over Zoya. At Ayaan's residence, Razia says that if the kids in Their parents agree. Then how can Rashid's mother object? She says that she wouldn't let Ayaan be forced into a marriage without his consent. Razia retorts that she would be the best person to know about forced relations since Rashid himself is involved in one with Shirin. She goes on to recollect what favor she and her husband have done over the years in rendering Rashid's name and fame in the society. She says that Razia never lets her forget this. But she would never let Ayaan be involved in a relation where there is no love. Razia stresses on the fact that Ayaan too likes Humera and that Mamujan himself would announce Ayaan and Humera's marriage. She is rendered speechless at the mention of Mamujan by Razia. Asad at home gets a phone call from somebody who tells him that Faraz Ansari shifted to Bhopal 3 years back from Allahabad. He tells the person to find out more about the inspector and cancels the call. He remembers Ayaan telling him that Hasina too hailed from Allahabad and that when he left from Hasina's house that day, Faraz knew. He is boggled by the connection. Rashid at home is approached by his mother asking him the reason for his haste in Ayaan and Humera's engagement without even asking Ayaan. Rashid says that he wanted to, but didn't get the time, and also seeing their relation, thought that he wouldn't mind. His mother says that she knows for sure that Ayaan doesn't love Humera because she would have known then. She asks him if he really wants his son to be stuck in a loveless marriage. Rashid says with dejection that Mamujan is to announce it tonight. She says that she would resist and try to stop him. While going upstairs, Razia meets Aharon and asks her if Nikat is ready and that she doesn't want anything else to go wrong now. Shirin goes on to check on Nikat while Razia hopes that the ceremony goes peacefully so that her daughter's life also gets settled. Zoya comes and finding Asad too there, she begins to behave very proper and trying to impress him, starts saying that she wouldn't say anything to anyone about her big secret, but she says that she knows everything about who comes to his room and why. Asad is alarmed. He asks how. She says that she overheard his conversation. She also enthusiastically offers to help him in his projects by getting info or even doing work in disguise, as he's a very good actor. She says that she can be of great help to him. She says that she felt bad though that he has kept this a secret from Dilshad and that she can help him in that too. Asad tries to get his phone from his coat, making Zoya think that he's taking his gun out. She is scared. They cross ways and finally Zoya gives way to Asad. Rashid's mother sees Nikat and comments that she's grown thin, taking stress to look good for her marriage. Nikat is teased by Nusrat and Humera in the name of Imran. Shirin comes and takes Nikat's side, saying that she indeed is looking beautiful, and also asks Rashid to take a look who's standing in the doorway. He comes in and is emotional and says that time and situations may change, but a father-daughter relation never does. He goes on to bless Nikat all the happiness in the world and also his share. They hear Imran's car and know that he has arrived. Ayaan receives Imran, and when Imran is asked about his mother, he tells that she is coming in the next car.